Hello everybody and welcome to our new Chess24 video series. My name is Jan Gustafsson, but the good news for you is this is not my series, but instead all the material is coming from our very special guest, the 8-time Dutch champion, former world number 10, is that correct?
Yeah, absolutely.
And what's your name?
My name is Luke van Wely.
And it's a pleasure to have you here, Luke. Luke, this video we called Decision Making in Endgames. What does that mean?
It means that basically you're on crossroads taking decisions, and the idea is basically that you take simply clever decisions. You don't really want to lose points by just taking irresponsible decisions, stuff like that. It has to be some kind of logic behind your decision taking. So, and I have selected a few very instructive examples in which, or my opponent or myself, we went wrong, and later I was thinking about it, yeah, this was really stupid, and could have been explained by simple logic why I had to take this decision or that decision, and same goes for my opponent.
So what sort of logic do you apply? Is it some guiding principles? Is it calculation? Or how do you identify a moment like that?
Well, calculation is simply like brute force thinking, and that's not really considered to be kind of logic thinking. It's more about is this clever or not, from general principles. So let's say, for example, you have a situation where you take an unnecessary risk, for example. Which
never happened to me.
No, I mean, also never happened to me, but, or let's say it shouldn't have happened to me, but it still happens. And sometimes you take, maybe for your opinion, maybe natural decisions, but if you think about it later on, you say, okay, this was really stupid. And if I had played the most sober move or most whatever. I mean, it's just, sometimes you should not let, let's say, emotions ruin your game. Okay. Especially when you go to the endgame. In the endgame, I mean, we're all getting tired. So, and we think the game is all about to finish, and we might not be as sharp as in the beginning, and it's very important to keep your head cool at the end of the game.
All right. So shall we look at some of these decision moments?
Yeah, let's get started.
So all of those are from your games?
Yeah. So far, I have a lot of experience in this kind of situations, because I like also to put pressure on my opponent that they have to take decisions. It's normally a good way to win games, because you keep on asking your opponent questions, and once they take the wrong decision, they are toast. On the other hand, also I've been myself in the situation that I had to answer some questions, not always took the right decision, but idea is of course that we learn from our mistakes. It doesn't always happen, but I mean, it should be the idea that we learn from our mistakes.
I prefer learning from other people's mistakes. So let's see. This is a game of yours against John van der Wiel.
Yeah, I'm playing. It was a game played at the Dutch Championship, and of course John van der Wiel is like a respectable grandmaster. But on the other hand, he's also a very active player, and he doesn't like passive positions.
Okay.
So and here he was at crossroads. So after this move, King G4, he had to decide whether to play King E6 or King C6.
John, what's going on? It's 3 versus 3 pawns. Should be equal, but your rook is a little more active, so you still have some hopes, yeah?
Yeah, basically I'm here in control, but I mean, but of course this rook on A5 is a bit annoying. It's kind of keeps the rook on A7 tied to the A6 pawn, and you see also this pawns on the king side kind of advancing. It looks a bit threatening. So John has to take a decision either to play king e6 or king c6.
I'd go passive. King e6. Defend.
Yeah, but why would you play passive?
I don't know. It's my nature.
Your nature. Okay, yeah. So there's also no logic behind your decision. But the point is basically that in general speaking, on grandmaster level, play a rook and game 3 against 2. It should be a draw.
Right.
So basically, once you play a move like, let's say, king to e6, and you go with your king to g8, even if you lose the a6 pawn,
still a draw.
It's still a draw. I mean, that's okay. It looks a little bit maybe annoying. Why I can put a pawn on h6, but it's not really something to worry about. It's mainly ghost. So, for example, I can play here, for example, move like f5, takes, and now black simply wants to get this king over to the king side. So
you're bluffing, yeah? Rook f7. And
so rook f7. So if I go, let's say rook a5 back.
I go back.
And okay, you can go back, but back, then you don't really get the point.
But I still want to go king f7 next.
Yeah, you want to go king f7 next, but okay, I would say I will play simply rook f1. I can even give you the pawn. I put king on f7, and I will be safe there.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So, and I think on grandmaster level, you're going to make a draw.
I'd be confident even.
Yeah. So the point is, so what happens if you play king c6?
Why would you do that? Trying to generate counterplay?
Good question, because he likes to force the issue. But is it really necessary? So let's say let's make a few logical moves to see what is happening here. So black plays king c6. You play f5. You take. Say king takes. King e6. Let's say rook.
Now it becomes a race. I'm scared.
Rook a1. Okay. Well, that's okay. Let's see how this race is going to end. a5. g6. Takes. King b5. King f6. a4. g7. Say takes. King b4. And
still draw, yeah?
It's still a draw. But what can we conclude from this? So actually, king c6 is not a winning attempt.
No, black is fighting for survival.
Black is still fighting for survival. And okay, black is making a draw in this line, but it means that at best, black can make a draw. If he has seen everything, if he didn't make any miscalculation, because you see there's some running and maybe you miscalculated by one tempo or something, and so this basically you are kind of subject of your calculation, and at the end of the game you will be tired and you can make a mistake. So, and actually so Van der Wiel would have been better off by staying on the king side, simply out of general grounds.
Just practical thinking. Yeah, you know this is a draw if you make 3 accurate moves and you don't have to calculate lines.
Yeah, exactly. So, well, okay, I have to say that in this position, okay, after king e6, okay, he has to crawl back as quickly as possible. Actually, the best move is actually to take here, and play f5. Takes, rook takes.
Still rook f7.
Rook f7. Okay, I go here.
I guess rook f1 is still simple enough, no?
Yeah, rook f1. Oh, okay, let's play maybe your move. Rook a7. So maybe you're a bit scared of king h5.
I'm not that scared, actually.
But once the king gets to g8,
I was taught against the G pawn you can even defend passively.
Absolutely, yeah. So here, and this is simply an easy draw.
Yeah, even without the A pawn, just to illustrate. Yeah, we don't have to give it up, but if black just waits on the 8th rank, you can't really do anything. So white can't. Pass. So yeah, King C6 would have secured the draw, but King E6 would have secured the draw, but King C6. So far the line was drawn as well, right? So is it a mistake?
Yeah, it is. Actually, it's a losing move.
Okay.
Because actually, I applied some very important technique in the rook game, which is like cutting off the king.
Okay.
Maybe you heard about it. No. Okay. So this is a good lesson for you. So I play this move f5. So he takes and king takes, and I plays king b6. So most logical move here is to play rook a1.
Yeah, it's the line you showed us earlier.
Yeah. However, the best move here is rook e5.
Okay.
Just giving it a space for the a pawn to advance, but it's just now a matter of calculation. So black plays a5. What else? g6 takes, a4, king f6, a3, and g7.
The point is, if we take and a2, then the king is too far away. Yeah? Rook e1, king b5, rook a1.
Yeah.
Okay.
So actually, after this move, g7, let's say even if you, so you take the pawn and king takes. Actually, it doesn't really matter where is this white king, because basically black cannot do anything in this position. Once he plays a2, like Jan said, rook e1, rook a1, you collect the pawn. So, and that's basically this is a well-known trick. The king is cut off on the 5th rank, and there's no way he can make any improve his position. So he cannot take, so he plays here rook to a8.
More decisions to be made, or this is more calculating, yeah?
Well, actually, it's more or less the same as after rook takes g7, king takes g7. You basically apply the same technique. So, actually, the most instructive way to play is not the way I played it, but is to play this move rook e3. You attack the pawn, threaten to take the pawn because of queen, so
a2, I guess?
He has to play a2, and you play rook e1.
And your plan is, again, rook a1, rook a2.
Yeah, and simply king c5, rook a1. The only difference is that in the end, you have to play queen against rook. Because after king b4, okay, you have to take, and which is maybe not so simple to play against a perfect defense, but
in practice, normally you win the rook somehow.
Yeah, in practice, but okay, there have been examples of human against computer, and humans found it too difficult to win. Because there are some kind of 6 rank defenses, and it's kind of interesting if you can defend like a rook, like a computer.
Okay.
Okay, that's just purely theoretical. And but I didn't go for the most, let's say, standard way. For some reason, I went for this move, rook h5.
But your idea is the same, yeah? You want to provoke a2 and then run back with the rook.
Yeah. Or my idea is actually now to play rook h8.
Yeah, sure.
So, if he plays now a2, I have to play rook h1, and I do the same. So I simply gave my opponent some extra options, which I think you shouldn't do. Because why would you give your own options? But okay, he plays the move rook c8. Now I'm going to attack the pawn. and he plays a2, rook a3. And basically, okay, he's going to lose the pawn, but we are at the end of the game and I have to be a little bit more careful. So after rook c6 check, I need to decide where I'm going with my king. So most obvious would be king f7, which is actually winning. But okay, black plays rook c7 check. Most logical move would be king g6.
Yeah.
And I play rook a7.
And rook a2 is not great this time.
And now rook takes a2 doesn't work because of, and you have, and it will be a draw. Also not so great would be g8 queen, because after rook takes a3 it's going to be very hard to win it, because you cannot win the rook by force. So, but there is still a win by playing rook to b3 check. And next move you queen, black queens, but
we start giving checks.
We start giving checks and it's going to be winning. I decided to play a little bit more accurate.
Wow.
I was on my post. I played king f5 move. So what else he can do except rook c5 check, king g6, rook a5. Then again, not rook takes a2 because still a draw.
I can see this.
Yeah, you saw it?
Yeah.
Rook b3 check is still, is still possible, but then after rook b5, yeah, then okay, many wins, but rook b3 check still winning. But this is the most thematic one. Takes, and g8 queen, and then we have this motive a1 queen, queen a8, winning the queen, and so black resigned here. I think it was very clear example that black took unnecessary risk by running to the queen side by playing king c6 instead of staying on the safe side by playing king e6. King c6 was simply unnecessary, trying to force. I mean, basically, if you trust your endgame, if you're ready to defend a rook in game 3 against 2, which actually all grandmasters should trust their endgame, especially in the rook in game 3 against 2, it's not so difficult to defend. So there was basically no point of taking this risk. I understand that John is an active player, but this was not really the situation to play active moves.
Well, we always taught in rook endgames one should play actively. There are exceptions, huh?
There are exceptions, yeah, and you should just should have realized that this was a good moment to stay passive here.
So I got it right. You were criticizing me for king e6.
I was criticizing you because
there was no logic.
There was no logic behind your. I mean, it's not that you. When I teach,
it's my grandmaster intuition.
Yeah, sure, you can call many names, but when I teach it, I don't even care that you make the right move. I just care about why you're making this move.
Ah, you're like these math teachers. When I gave the right answer, they still said, no, you're just guessing.
Yeah, well. Anyway, I think it was a clear example of, you should not play for a loss.
That makes sense to me. Shall we look at is it another rook ending or what's coming?
Yeah, we have enough rook endgames, so...
It's going to be a party.
Yeah.
Next one?
Yeah, sure, I'm ready for that.
What?
Yeah.
Looks like you're running out of rooks, yeah?
Yeah. So, this was the end of my game against Magnus Carlsen. It was played in 96, so...
96? That's hard to believe.
Or 2006.
I think that's more likely.
Okay, let's say...
the guy is 27, yeah?
Okay, 2006, yeah. So, and at that time, of course, Magnus was like 15 or 16, I don't know, but I think by rating we were more or less the same. Of course, he was already, extremely dangerous and could see his huge potential. In this game, okay, actually, he should have won easily, but he was still so young that at one point he started gallery play, which okay, I understand. He was maybe a little bit cocky and wanted to show, but because of his gallery play, he missed one move here and there, and then he gave me a chance to fight back and I have to say I really defended extremely well. And this is kind of the end of the game. So we played over 6 hours.
So you're white and it's your move, yeah?
It's my move, yeah. So yeah. So the main thing is that at this point, okay, we're all tired. We all want to go home, and we basically have one more decision to make in the game. We have like, let's say 15 minutes on the clock. And I was kind of shocked because by intuition, I want to make a move. But then I said, okay, hold on a second. Let me think a little bit because, okay, anyway, I have to take one more decision and that's it. So let me use my time well, which is, I think, I mean, all of you guys, you should try to use your time well, because it's like, it would be really a horrible feeling that you blow the game by one stupid mistake after 6 hours of play, that you throw away all the hard work, all the good defense. So that would be really a shame.
Been there.
Yeah. So you really have to, okay, you need to have some energy still to calculate, so you better be in good shape. So we have here a few candidate moves. So let me point out a few. It's like h5, king f4, king g4.
So you guys at home, if you want to think already, you can pause the video. Like, try to figure it out. I know this one, you've shown it to me before, so I'm not gonna pretend. But
so actually, I showed this position also once to some guy who claims he's the best trainer in the world.
We're not talking about me now.
No. And okay, I'm not going to mention his names, but he said h5, but it has to be calculated. And then I looked at him like, are you serious? And he was dead serious. Point is that h5 actually is a move which can be discarded right away.
I paid attention last video, so I can do the same trick now?
Yeah, you can do the same trick. It's now with reverse colors, so you cut off the king on the 4th rank by playing this move rook to e4. This king could be on f1 or on a1 or x1 or whatever. It doesn't really matter. Now it's lost. There's basically no way.
The mechanism, just to repeat, is the same as before. Yeah. Here we attack the pawn.
Yeah.
King is on time. Take it.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
You don't even need to attack the pawn. You can still wait if you really.
Just to rub it in, yeah.
Yeah.
This is the same position as in the last example. Okay, so we can rule out h5 because of this cutting off technique again. Yeah?
So one important technique in these kind of positions, like, so the king has to cross the 4th rank. So one important technique is called, when you play with king and pawn against rook and pawn, is called shouldering.
I've heard of that. Kind of the opposite, the enemy king.
Yeah, you basically trying to block the king from giving a passage. So by intuition, I wanted to play here this move king f4, because you put the king on the most central square. and which I almost made, but then I said, okay, wait a second, let me think a bit. And then actually I realized that this move actually, it just realizes the opposite. Instead of shouldering, it's giving a black king to give black a passage for his king.
Huh?
And I will show you. When I saw it, I got this warm feeling inside that wow, I almost went wrong here. It was so close, but thank God, I still had my composure that I didn't move too quickly. So after King 4, there's this funny way of black can actually use it by playing King G2. And after H5, King to H3.
H6, you just keep chasing me?
Yeah, now you have actually the two options. One is just to keep the king outside. So it's by playing King G5. And then it goes step by step. Rook E5, King G4, and it goes.
This I've seen.
Yeah.
King G6, H8 knight.
H8 knight.
King F6, yeah.
Yeah, King F6, and Rook G7, losing the knight.
Knight on the rim is dim.
Yeah. So instead, after King H3, there is this move
H6.
H6. However, black just plays King H4.
Okay.
Let's say King F5. King H5. Okay, you have to push. And simply Rook E8. And King F6, King H6, and the H pawn will drop.
Just in time.
Just in time, yeah. So actually the right way to play in this position is actually King G4 shouldering.
Because you're stopping King G2, King H3, yeah? That's the difference.
Yeah. And okay, the king can march like F2, E3. It doesn't really make any sense. Okay, let's say I can give you an example how actually shouldering. Okay, probably there are more ways to make a draw, but let's say if you play here, one of the moves now will be to play.
Now you shoulder, yeah?
Now I want to block the king, yeah.
Yeah, why it's just in time.
Yeah. So actually, this is also a very important example of at the end of the game, you need to take your time for some reflection and take it.
Just clicking through the end.
Yeah.
Curriculum.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Draw.
And check and King F8 and that's.
Can you go here too?
And do some fancy play or
show off? Yeah. Like
yeah.
Okay. Here and back. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think this was kind of interesting to, let's say, the example of cutting off the king, shouldering the king, and especially using your time well at the end of the game where you still have basically one decision to make, but we all want to go home. We're all tired, but just have to push yourself. Okay, come on, think a little bit more before. I mean, this extra time is not going to. If you have 2 hours still on the clock at the end of the game. Okay, I know a few players who love to intimidate their opponents, like Nepomniachtchi is one of them who likes to show off and play
quickly. Yeah?
He likes to maybe to show off or to humiliate his opponent. But I think this is not this doesn't really apply to this situation.
Yeah, you're not gonna humiliate Magnus anymore from here, yeah? Or you're only gonna get the draw if you play precisely.
Yeah.
So, do we have another rook ending?
No. Yeah,
that's bad news.
For now we are done, but okay, this was like I had 2 examples selected.
What do we do? Do we have a non-rook ending example, or shall we do it in the next video?
Yeah, we do. We just continue with interesting position, queen rook against queen rook.
All right, we'll do that in the next video. So see you guys there, and thanks for watching this one. Cheers.